Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is Fierce Female Friday, April 14th, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. Our very special guest today is an actor, screenwriter, singer, songwriter, producer, and entrepreneur. Joining me today, ladies and gentlemen, we have Sterling Morse Jr. I hope you guys are all doing excellent. TGIF. I'm doing excited. I hope you guys are excited as well, too. Without further ado, let's welcome our very special guest, ladies and gentlemen, Sterling Morse Jr. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the house.
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
I'm good, hanging in there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, TGIF, we are here with our very special guest, Sterling Morse Jr. So before we get into this interview, how has 2022 been for you thus far? Because I know it's been some ups and downs with this pandemic going on, and it seems like it's never ending. So it's so much more to come. So how's 2022 been for you thus far?
So far, it's been pretty good. I mean, way better than 2021. Of course, way better than 2020. So just hopefully things keep going well.
Absolutely. And that's great to hear because it has definitely been so much going on with these shutdowns and things. I know for you as a producer, as an actor, it's difficult for a lot of us out here, content creators in general.
Yeah, yeah. Like to be totally honest, I'm one of the people that didn't necessarily want to get the vaccine, but as soon I lost out on a pretty big role because I wasn't vaccinated. That this was in the summer of last year. So I was like, man, I'm gonna just go ahead and do it. Didn't want to do it, but
Interview. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, I mean,
That was my
I didn't want to do it, but I did it. So yeah,
Okay. Okay. Yes, we have to do in order to keep it moving 100% and to keep flourishing and producing content out here.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into this interview, ladies and gentlemen. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Now, you grew up in a number of places. You were born in Chester, Pennsylvania.
I was, yes, yeah. So
Okay.
I was born there. That it's about 15 minutes south of Philadelphia. Um, and moved from there when I was like 5 years old. And my dad was like the only one of his siblings that left. And I'm a preacher's kid, so you know, they say about us. It's a stereotype. It's not all true. But he got his first church in South Carolina, so I was there for several years growing up, and we ended up moving to Detroit, Michigan. So I was there up until I was 14, and then I moved to Washington D.C. When I started high school.
So, where did this passion from acting come from? Who's some of your inspiration when you look up to actors?
Well, it's funny when people ask me that. They get surprised when I tell them because, people say the typical names like, oh, Denzel and, people like that. But I like those actors and actresses who, that just really become the character, the really good, like method actors, So like Jeffrey Wright, Johnny Depp,
Mm.
Sarah Paulson's one of my famous right now. She's amazing. Um, you know, even Jared Leto right now, he's killing it too. Like when I saw him in House of Gucci, I was like, whoa, didn't even know it was him. So I love those type of actors and actresses. Yeah.
Now, you also attended the Lincoln University. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh yeah. The HBCU experience, amazing. Even to this day, we're a very tight knit group. The people I went to school with, the alumni is really great. It's funny because we battle. There's another HBCU in Pennsylvania, which where my father went, and we always argue who was the first HBCU. I don't want to get too technical about it, but it's always an argument. So
Okay, mass communications. Tell us a little bit about that. Like,
yeah,
what was that experience like?
Well, you know what's funny? I started out as a music major, and then I switched to communications. So because I wanted to get into film and television broadcasting, right? Um, so I did a lot of internships while I was in college. I interned at BET. Had some interesting stories with that, um, like going to get Whitney Houston cigarettes, stuff like that. But I was a production intern there, at VH1 and MTV in New York, PBS headquarters. So I was like on the track of going into like television broadcasting. I wanted to go to film school, but sometimes life happens, things happen, and it kind of alters your course. But I've come full circle. I didn't think I was would ever be in front of the camera, but here I am.
Okay. And you've mentioned Whitney Houston, and you're also a musician as well, too, singer, songwriter. So for you, where does that passion for music come from? And like, who are some of your musical influences?
Well, I come from a musical family, like on both sides. Um, so music was always in my family. Like even to this day, if you come to a family gathering, I guarantee you it will end up becoming a concert. So I come from that. But just growing up listening to the music my parents was listening to really inspired me. I'm an ultimate Prince fan. Been listening to Prince since I was in elementary school. And and I was a big fan of the bands, like Earth, Wind and Fire and the Gap
Mm.
Band and the Daz Band and War. I mean, people like that. But that's because my parents was listening to those people. So yeah.
Wow, you look stunning. Thank you, sis. Thank you. Shout outs to my makeup artist and my beauty contributor, Melanie Nella, my Bridges. This look tonight that I'm wearing or this evening was inspired after Rihanna, her Clarilano Foundation. And so if you guys are wondering, so definitely shout outs to Mel. All right, so music. We're going into music, songwriting. Where do you get your inspiration for writing music? Because I heard a snippet of one of your songs that you posted
Uh,
early, and I'm just like,
that,
wait, what?
that's right. That actually that was from a song from one of my last album, which was actually years ago. And the inspiration for that album was I was in this like really intense relationship at the time, So um, that album was kind of loosely based on my relationship. So yeah, and so yeah, I get my inspiration just from life, you know. So sometimes I hear people talking from conversations, people are talking to me, things going on in the world, and sometimes it's creativity comes in spurts, So there may be a time where it just hits me, and so definitely from life.
My girlfriend, my best friend, she says the guest has a nice smile, doesn't he?
I get that from my mom. I get that from my mom. May she rest in peace. I have her smile.
Okay, and we're talking about songwriting and elements. We know that some singers like elements when they're writing their music. Like I know Erica Badu back in the day, she would like, incense and candles and all sorts of things when she's writing and producing her music. When you're in the studio, what is a session like for you? Like, do you like a crowd of people? I remember, I think it was Faith Evans or somebody that said something about they did not like a whole lot of people in the studio with them when they're recording. So for you, what type of element do you like when you're recording and producing your music?
Just me and the engineer. And I mean, if any musicians are required, then yeah. But that's it. No one. I don't need an entourage. I mean, if you're working on the song with me, then you're in there. But if you're not, you're not in there. I don't want anyone in there. So yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah,
Gets the juices flowing and straight to the point, right to the point.
yeah.
All right.
I have my engineer who also used to be an artist. We just have this synergy, So we work very well together. Like we're always in each other's heads, And like that's all I want in there. That's it. Just him, and You know, I've been thinking about recording again, you know, but it's giving me a little bit of time thinking, because right now my engineer is in Ghana, enjoying Ghana right now. So maybe when he gets back, we might get in the studio. So
You're ready to get those creative juices back to flowing. And I know things are starting to open back up. You know, this thing, it's had us shut down for quite a while. Like, we never expected this coming. And my girlfriend, Stephanie, knows we talked about this.
yeah,
But we never expected this coming. My mom even said the same exact thing. Like, for a lot of us content creators, musicians, singers, songwriters out here,
yeah.
it's a lot of us that this has affected. So I'm ready for you to get back in the studio.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I I just started meeting some people from my mom's side of the family, and you know, just coming to find out that they were all musicians as well. Just that just kind of freaked me out. I was like, oh my gosh, okay. It was just destined for me to be in music or some type of entertainment, you know. So
Written in the stars, and that's manifestation.
yeah, yeah.
All right, so let's get into some of your acting credits, because you've done some hit shows as well too. Okay, the first one I'm going to start off with is Smack, Break Every Chain, Double Cross, which is an all-black TV series, For My Man, which is on TV1. You did Thou Shalt Not.
Hmm.
And out of all 5 of these acting titles, which one has a very special place to your heart?
I would say, wow, that's a good question. That's the tough question, because it's between Double Cross and Break Every Chain. Uh,
Mm.
the reason why is because Double Cross wasn't the first thing that I ever did, but it was the first like major production. Like, yeah, For My Man and Thou Shalt Not was on TV1, right? But those were crime reenactment shows where any lines that I said, that was improv, right? Um, but Double Cross is the first time where I went to LA and went to LA on a set with like stars I've been watching on TV. I'm in a scene with people that I've been watching on TV. You know, I'm in a trailer going over my lines. I'm in the makeup trailer. I have a stunt fight coordinator, and I'm like, whoa. And after I did that, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Um, and you know, I really got an opportunity from the creator, one of the creators of the show. You know, uh, it was it's actually a brother and sister team, that the creators of the show, and so they gave me an opportunity, and just really grateful for that. Break Every Chain was my first full length movie, and I'm actually nominated for Best Supporting Actor at for Branson International Film Festival. I'll actually know if I won or not next week. So, but just the message behind it. It's a true story. It's based off a book. The person that the story is about, like, I'm friends with him to this day, and it brings to light what first responders go through, dealing with PTSD and things of that nature. And one thing I learned was that first responders, especially police officers, the biggest cause of death among officers isn't violence in the street; it's suicide. So that's something I learned, and but you know, just being a part of that and bringing into something that's bringing awareness to something like that, that was a good thing.
Yes, and you talk about PTSD. That's something that we go through in the Black community when it pertains to mental health. And thank God for people like you being an actor and bringing awareness to this,
Yeah,
using your platform and bringing awareness to this. Because we've been talking about mental health throughout all of this week on my show here,
yeah,
where, you know, we talked about depression, bipolar disorder, so many things. And for us as general, as the Black collective in the Black community,
yeah,
people don't want to talk about these things.
yeah,
It's so taboo, people sweep it up under the rug.
yeah.
But it's just like, you know, just pray to God, just talk to God about it. But God put therapists here for a reason. So there's
That's,
nothing wrong with going to talk to someone
yeah,
and telling them, okay, this is what's going on with me. This is why I don't feel okay today.
right.
It's okay to say I'm not. Yeah, I didn't want to get on my soapbox and preach. you guys,
No,
but this is something that we have to talk about within the Black community, and that is
yeah,
mental health. We have to normalize it,
that's
or else
well.
I'm gonna name some great. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Sterling.
Well, I was gonna say, I have two. Well, so you mentioned Smack. Smack comes out later this year, which is a movie that brings awareness and light to the opioid epidemic. Um, and then, as far as Black bringing awareness to something pertaining to Black people, Black folk, I did a short film. I believe it's going to be on All Black as well. I shot it last November called Get Checked, and it's about men getting checked for breast cancer. But it's not just about breast cancer. It's just like, just get checked, go to the doctor. Uh,
Yeah.
Black and brown men don't like going to the doctor until it's too late, and that's what that's about. Yeah.
And that is something that we have to normalize as Black people, as a collective in this community. And thank God for men like you, Black men, speaking up and normalizing it when it comes to health. Because
Yeah.
I have men like in my family where it's just like, okay, I'm scared. I don't want to go to the doctor to see what's wrong. Talk about it and address the issue. For women, it's easy for us. We can just go out here and tell whatever it is.
Yeah.
But Black men have to start normalizing going to get checked up, because for us as Black people, we have a number of things:
Yeah.
pre-existing conditions, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. All of these things, we have to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves,
That's right.
because it goes from generation to generation to generation
That's
if we do not talk about it.
Yep.
All right, so you've done For My Man on TV1, and I'm going to ask you a question because I ask a lot of actors this question.
Yeah.
Which is, have you ever felt yourself getting so deep into the character where it's just like, ooh, I need to pull back. I'm no longer the character anymore. I'm Sterling.
Well, yeah, I've felt that, but in that moment, I don't want to pull back. I don't want to pull back from that. You know, because you really want to be able to portray that character to the best of your ability, and sometimes you have to go outside of yourself. But the great thing about it is sometimes you actually find stuff about yourself as well. So, and the key is also when you're going outside of yourself, but you're also bringing a part of you into that character as well. So just a part of character development before you even, when you get the script, before you even shoot anything, you're studying that character, you're studying the scenes and the character, you're trying to figure out, what makes this character tick? What's their background? Is there a part of me you find that part of you that's in that character. And then, yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
when I shot Smack, the writer called me and was like, dude, you okay? It was like, I needed like a day or two to decompress, sometimes it's like that. Yeah.
And I asked that question because that happened to Lupita when she was doing Us.
Mm-hmm.
She said she literally had to go and detox this character out of herself because it took a lot out of her.
Yeah.
And a lot of actors can literally find themselves going deep into these characters where it's just like, ooh, I need to pull back. I kind of had a trance or like a experience here. It's very dark. It's very chaotic. So definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely. Even with Get Checked, so what they teach you, I learned how to cry, right, on command. And but what I do is I think about something that makes me cry, right? So when I shot Get Checked, I mean, it was about, someone dying from cancer, and that's what happened to my mother. So it sounds like it's kind of torturing, you're torturing yourself, but I think about my mom. I think about my mom, which makes me cry. So I'm literally on my deathbed in this film, and tears start coming down my face. It's like really solemn in that room where we're shooting, so tears start coming, and then so the director's like, cut. And then I'm like about to wipe my tears, and he's like, don't you wipe those tears. He's like, leave them. But it sometimes you have to dig really, really deep you know, just to get some things out of yourself. So
In order to get into character, it happens.
yeah, yeah. And
Um,
oh no, go ahead.
oh no, I wasn't going to say anything. Go ahead.
No, no, I don't know. I didn't want to like step on your toes. I don't know if you were going to ask me if I had anything else going on. But I do know I'm starting to shoot a movie next month, and it's called Strip from Insanity. And so all I can say, I can't really talk too much about it, but I'm gonna really have to dig very, very deep for this character. You know, they even asked me like, you know, are you okay doing this? You know, I said, yeah, you know, fine. But I know I'm gonna dig really deep at doing it, and you know, but I look forward to it. It's a challenge, you know.
And you're going to do an amazing job on it. I can't wait to see the project. You didn't have to. That's why I kind of went.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to give away so much, but we're ready to see.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, fashion dolls, y'all know what time it is with Sterling. We are about to get into two of our favorite games. The first one is going to be called the Rapid Five, and Sterling has to tell me five things that he can't live without. And the next one is going to be called Turn the Tables. And this is where my new viewers, my new guests that are watching Style by Stevie get to know a little bit about me, the hostess. What my likes are, my turnoffs, whatever you guys want to know, uncensored and unfiltered in the Turn the Tables segment. But first, we're going to start off with the Rapid Five. What are five things that Sterling can't live
Oh my gosh, sad to say, my phone. Can't live without that. Music. You know, I don't know what I would do without music. All right. Um, I would say, uh, I know this sounds crazy, but I have this thing about, I love like bottled water. Like if you go in my kitchen, I have cases and cases and cases of bottled water. And like if I don't have any, I'm not drinking tap water. I'm not drinking it. So like I would die if I had to drink tap water. So like I have to have like bottles of water. Um, I have sons. I have twin sons. All right, and you know, I should have said them first, but I definitely wouldn't be able to live without them. You know, those my little men right there, and you know, they look up to me, so I know they always watching, so I gotta, you know, stay on my P's and Q's. You know, and then honestly, and at this point, um, acting. I like live, breathe, and sleep it. I mean, I think that's why I haven't even recorded anything in a while, because acting, I didn't think acting would take over like this, but I absolutely love it.
without? All right, there's five, ladies and gentlemen. And in response to your last answer, yes, you can do it all. You can record music, you can act as well too. It's about finding that balance. Like
Yeah,
you're a father, you're an actor also. So it's like finding the balance.
yeah,
And a lot of us in life, we have to find that balance. That's what it's about. Even for me, I have to be, you know, I was teasing one of my friends. I said, I literally have to be superwoman. I have to take care of my mom, make sure she's good, make sure this platform is good,
yeah,
make sure I'm good. So it's definitely a balance. And I'm pretty sure everybody that is watching this platform can understand that. When you're going through things in life, you have to find that balance
yeah.
or make a little list. You know, I do that all the time. Or like you said in the beginning, your phone, a lot of people are attached to their phones. There's literally things you can put into a little planner
Oh, yeah.
on your phone.
Oh, mine is filled up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time, fashion dolls, to turn those tables. And this is where my guests get to ask me questions, uncensored and unfiltered. I have no clue what Sterling is going to ask me, but Sterling, take it away.
Okay, so is this like five things you can't live without, or just anything?
Anything. You can ask as many questions as you want.
Okay. Actually, okay. Where are you from?
South Carolina, Southern
Ah,
Belle.
really? What part?
I'm near Charleston and Myrtle Beach.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I used to live in Sumter.
I've heard of it. I know where it is.
Oh man. Okay. Actually, how long have you been hosting this show?
I started Style by Stevie back in 2016, 2017, right after high school. And when I started, I was very cocky. I was very arrogant. I didn't know what I was doing. And I said, well, let's just go on ahead and give it a name. You know, it was just random for Style by Stevie. So as the years progressed on and on and on, I have friends who also do music and act as well too. They needed a platform to promote their projects and stuff. At first, we were just going to discuss, you know, skincare tips, and that was going to be the everyday thing. But I said, let's shake it up. Let's add music and fashion, so many other different things that people love to this platform. So that's kind of how I got my start.
Okay. And who are some of your favorite designers?
Well, if you guys know, I'm a fashion girl for sure, for sure, for sure. So my favorite one I'm gonna have to start off with is Manfred Terry Mugler, the late Manfred Terry Mugler, and I can't stand the fact that I'm saying late. He was so pivotal in the world of fashion with his designs. He's designed Kim Kardashian, Cardi B, Beyonce, just to name a few. And it's just something about the structure and the detail on how he dresses a woman's body. I have one of his coats in my closet that I won't show.
Right.
Another one of my favorites would have to be Valentino. I love class. I like classy, elegant, structure. And I also love Roberto Cavalli as well too. That is another one of my favorites.
Yeah. Nice, nice, nice. Um, Now, have you ever thought about acting yourself?
I actually have done some
Okay.
acting back in 2021. I did a horror film called The Assistant too, and I got that role on my birthday. Shout out to Alex Dante on that role. Um, for this role, he wanted me to play a college professor, and I had no acting experience. He gave it to me on my birthday, and he said, "Just stay tuned.
Mm.
Let's just see." We know how women are about our hair. So at this time, I had at least 20 inches of blonde hair going down my back. And he said, "We want you to cut it." I said, "What?" "We want you to cut it." So for this role, I had to do short hair.
Mm.
And I went in and I nailed it. I said, "Okay, I'm going to give you what you want." And he said, "The reason why I want you doing short hair is because I don't want you looking like one of the college kids." I
Yeah.
was supposed to be a college professor
Right.
teaching ethics class. And my role in that film, everybody is still talking about it to this day. So shout outs to Alex for that.
Nice, nice. And question 5. How do you feel? What are your opinions about the Will Smith, Chris Rock situation?
And I kind of touched briefly on this. I'm just going to say this. It's a lot of toxic masculinity, and it's now being brought to the surface from some black men.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it needs to be addressed. It needs to come to the head. Um, Men are like, well, you need to suck it up. You need to be tough. No, you don't.
Mm.
Not all the time.
Yeah.
Because that same toxic masculinity can result down to generation to generation, where we keep things bottled up inside. And your children can pick up those traits eventually. So for me, as a black woman, seeing what's going on with these two black men in Hollywood, it's evil for me.
Yeah.
I've spoken out on how I felt about the Academy not representing more and more people of color, and I'm going to stand 10 toes down on it. I would love to see more and more people of color at the forefront.
Yeah.
And there's a number of things going on with this situation, from respectability, the way that things should have been handled. Yes, it shouldn't have to result in violence, but also don't fall puppet to the system. And what I mean by that is we already know who's going to get the upper power and who's going to get more privilege in Hollywood.
Mm.
And it's not people with skin like ours.
That's right. Absolutely correct. Mm. You said it.
And it's sad. It's the way the world is now when it comes to the entertainment industry. I remember Loretta Devine was saying something about Hattie McDaniel.
Yeah.
She was the first black woman to get an Academy Award,
And
and she literally had to go to another hotel
yeah.
to receive her award.
Mm-hmm.
And Loretta Devine said, "Well, honey, child, she's from the South as well too." She said, "Child, that's just the way things were back then." And it was. I remember watching Dorothy Dandridge's film with Halle Berry, and they didn't want to nominate a woman of color for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, like I even look at in sports, like the NFL. Um, you know, they instituted the Rooney Rule, right, where they had to interview minority coaches, right? And I think when they did that, it was like 3 black coaches, and then this past year, when the one black coach decided to sue, it one black coach. You know what I mean? So it's everywhere.
It's racism out here, and we was asked that question yesterday when I did my interview with Dante Sellers, who's also an actor as well too. He was asked that question about one of the dolls here. They asked him, how do you feel about racism in the acting industry? And I said, ooh, if only I was asked that question, but I'm not the guest, I'm the hostess.
Yeah.
So whatever the audience asked, and he answered that, and he said, it's sad to see that, but we're coming a long way. And I said, yeah, we have a lot of progress.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of work to do in order to get more and more.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
All right. I don't know what else Sterling is going to ask me, but we definitely needed to cover that because that is an ongoing issue in Hollywood or the entertainment business with racism in the film industry.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I guess I had one more question. Michael Jackson or Prince?
Ooh, that's tough. I would have to go with Prince because he had very eclectic fashion choices. And not only that, but if you're in the music industry, you know what he spoke out about. And y'all know where I'm going with this. He spoke out about owning your masters,
Right.
owning your catalog of music, because we see what's going on with other singers and songwriters out here, with them getting lawsuits of, and them having to go back in and re-record their music. That just recently happened with Ashanti. She literally had to go back in and re-record her whole album.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Swift had to do it as well too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh yeah. I a long time ago I was an intern at an entertainment law office, and there was a very popular song a duo from back in the day, and I can't say their names, but and they were suing a major company, a label, a major one, for back royalties. Like they hadn't received royalties in like 30 years, you know, and they were meanwhile putting out like greatest hits albums and stuff like that, you know, without their permission. I mean, they didn't have to get their permission, but still, you know, they were writing those songs and they hadn't received any royalties. So the lawyer I was working for sued that company. So but there's just a lot of stuff like that going on.
It happens in the music industry with a lot of artists.
Yeah.
We've seen that even artists that are trying to cross over. So many have been open and spoke about that. I think it was so many. I think Prince spoke out about it. We know for sure. He was saying, you know, about owning your masters and things. T-Bonz from TLC was another one as well too. We've seen what happened with the record company and how they did them. So many other artists just it's just so much that goes into it. So my advice to people that are looking to get into the industry would be do your research. Know that this is something that you want to do. Make sure you go back and there's books, there's knowledge out here, there's unsung, there's behind the music.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many programs out here that you can watch that can educate you about the music industry. Thank God. For me, I didn't decide to get into it. I just, you know, decided to get into the aspect of the journalism side and doing the interviews and finding out their point of view, their perspective, and letting their voices be heard. So that's what I do.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. You know, I've seen so many. I had a friend of mine who, you know, and this was like back in the day where you know he was selling CDs out the trunk of his car, right? And but he turned down a deal with Jermaine Dupri actually, and because he said, you know, I can make more money on the street selling my CD than I would make with him, you know, because they would be, you know, just taking big cuts of everything, you know, and he didn't care about the fame, you know, he just liked making the music, and you know, he went ahead, all the money he made, and he invested it, and you know, was doing pretty well, you know, but a lot of times especially young black people come from nothing sometimes, you know, they're preyed upon if they have talent, they're preyed upon by these companies, because they're looked at as a like basically like a product, really, you know, or like a pimp, they're pimps basically, you know, and and immediately your I learned about this when I was working for the lawyer. It's this clause that's in contracts called a cross collateralization clause, where if I haven't that if I'm signed for 3 albums and they give me my advance, which is a loan, you know whatever I made on my album, I gotta pay it back, right? But then now it's my second album. I might have probably sold 1,000,000 copies, but I probably only made $30,000. But then now I got my second album, and I had a sophomore jinx, and I didn't do well, right? Now I'm in the hole. I owe them, So now my third album, everything I make from that goes to my debt from my second album, So it's like, it's terrible.
And we've seen what happened with artists that are in the hip hop industry as well. To Meg Thee Stallion is one of them with her contract, and how you have to go back in and renegotiate and all of these things. So it's a lot that goes into it. Be careful with signing some of these contracts.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's why even anything dealing with acting as well, I'm like, wait, if I got to sign something, I'm like, hold on, let my lawyer look at it.
With a fine-tooth comb.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So.
All right, fashion dolls. I think that's it for the Turn the Table segment. If we don't have anything, I'm going to let Sterling here close it out with the final and last question. Um, what advice would you give to the next up and coming generation that is looking to get into this? Knowing you have, what we just discussed, you have so much knowledge from both of us on both ends, on the music industry and on the acting side. What advice would you give to the next up and coming generation?
I would say to, first of all, learn your craft and master it, and well, attempt to master your craft. They're even with actors, and I learned this as well, is that there are even big famous actors still taking classes. It's an ongoing process. So whether you're a musician, whether you're an actor, study, take classes, just keep improving. And then on the other side is learn the business. That's very important. Learn the business.
All right, fashion dolls, there you have it. Is there any projects you want to plug and let everyone know where they can follow you at?
Oh, sure. Well, we talked about Break Every Chain earlier. That is right now on Apple TV and Amazon Prime, so you can check that out. I am working on a new film called Strip from Insanity, where I'm start shooting at next month. So very excited about that. And be on the lookout for a short film called Get Checked, which comes out this year, and a movie called Smack. You can find me on Instagram at Sterling Morse, like Morse code, Junior Official.
All right, fashion dolls. Ladies and gentlemen, Sterling Morse Jr., it was such a pleasure having you here in the Dollhouse, TGIF. This was definitely a treat. And I would love to have you back again in the future.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You are so welcome.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, are y'all ready to walk like a model? Well, we have Norquan Morgan, actor, model, and singer here tomorrow with us at 1 p.m. tomorrow on a exclusive weekend Style by Stevie. So make sure you guys tune in for that. Make sure you guys are taking care of yourself. Get well, rest up, enjoy your weekend. Please be safe, and this interview will be up. And again, thank you all. Thank you, Sterling.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.